senior citizens can be fantastic patients, but what's your practice doing to make them more comfortable? What if somebody called your practice and said, what can you do to make seniors more comfortable? Well, unless you have a good answer, you could have just lost a very great patient. Welcome to this week's episode of the Dental Practice Fixers podcast. We have an incredibly special guest today, and he is all the way from his home studio in Owings Mills, Maryland. It's my brother, Dr. Marshall Madow. How's it going today, Marsh?
How's it going? Great to see you, Rich.
It's fantastic to have you now.
Nice guitars in the background.
Thanks. Well, I'm actually recording from my bedroom today. Just my wife's in the main part of our tiny condo, and she's doing a Zoom conference in there. So I'm relegated to the bedroom. So yeah, I got a couple of guitars in the background. I actually broke out the 12 string lately because we watched a really interesting documentary about Gordon Lightfoot, and he plays a lot of 12 strings. So took out the 12 string, started playing, the legend lives on. Anyway, so you got some drums behind you. Wow.
Got the drums in the background, the electric drums, the cymbals, now, everything.
Those of you who are listening, which most of our podcast people just listen to the audio, you can watch us on YouTube as well if you want to see Marshall's drums and what this cool guy looks like. So you can just go to YouTube and search for the Dental Practice Fixers or Dental Practice Fixers. And you'll see us. I don't know, that might be scary. Maybe you're better off listening on audio. Now, I know typically my brother Dave Madow is on here. So yes, all three of us are dentists. It's a weird family. What can I say? Maybe we'll get into that later, but I'm not sure because we have a lot of things to talk about. And I'll tell you in a second why Dr. Marshall was chosen to be our special guest today. It's an interesting story. But first, I just want to let you know that if you are not using Fat Merchant for your credit card processing, you're losing money every month, probably thousands of dollars per year, because they do not charge an overage percentage. With your processor, every time somebody charges, they stick you with a percentage. So the more you charge, the more you pay. Flat Merchant's a low monthly fee, and they're really big into the contact-free charging, which everybody wants these days. So just go to madow.com/save, madow.com/SAVE. Get Fat Merchant set up in your practice. It's seamless, and you will never look back. Okay, Marshall, you have been a dentist for 1 year longer than I have, because you're like one academic year older. I would have to say, out of all the dentists I know, and it's thousands, I got to say, you've had one of the more interesting careers out of anyone. And I can, just real briefly, I can say, for many years, you were involved kind of in the denture world, making denture after denture after denture after denture, day in and day out. Then you were with a more cosmetically based practice, so you were doing mini implants and dentures as well. And now for the last, I'll just turn it over to you. For the last X years, you've been doing something really unusual. Why don't you tell everyone about that?
The last 10 plus years, actually, I've been involved with mobile dentistry. And what we do is that we provide dental services to patients who normally can't get to a traditional practice. So we'll go to nursing facilities, we'll go to psychiatric hospitals, we'll go to homeless shelters, anywhere where there's people that can't otherwise get to a regular dental office. And like I said, I've been doing this for the past 10 plus years. It's been extremely rewarding. I work with a great group called the Mobile Dentist, great group of people. Unfortunately, COVID-19 has affected our business a little bit, but we're doing our best to get back out there.
I was going to ask you about that. And we were chatting a couple of days ago. You were calling me from your car. You were driving to the eastern shore of Maryland, which those of you who aren't familiar with Maryland, yeah, Baltimore's in like the mainland of Maryland, and then you cross the Chesapeake Bay and you go to the eastern shore where the beach communities are. And you told me you were going to a facility that hosted like minor league criminals and crazy people. Now, crazy people, not very politically correct to say that. So let's just say it hosted.
Yeah, watch it.
Minor league criminals and maybe the mentally challenged. How did it go?
It's really good because it's called Eastern Shore Hospital Center. They are really happy to have us there. We bring both trucks down, We bring all the 18 members of the mobile dentist, and the facility is very, very happy for us to be there. They're extremely cooperative. They bring the patients out. They do all the work for us. We don't have to even go in there and find the patients. It's great. We could be very productive. The patients like it. We like it. The facility likes it. So it's a win-win-win, basically. The only
I would
problem is
imagine,
it's a little far drive, but
well, hey, but it's a fun drive. You've got a couple nice cars. What the heck?
eh, I'm no MJ, but I do what I
Well,
can.
yeah, nobody is. But I think all of us in dentistry will relate stories where this patient was just so grateful and it really made my day. Because a lot of patients, we see them at their worst sometimes, and not always great stories. But then those times where the patients are really grateful, it makes our day. I would imagine you have a higher percentage of that than many dentists.
We definitely do. One of the things that I've learned many things in my 10 plus years working with this patient population, is that in many of these cases, these senior citizen patients we see, say like they're confined to their room in a nursing facility, getting out of their room, getting out of the building, coming into our truck, it is like I kid you not, it is the highlight of their day. It's like, well, I'm so glad to be here. Otherwise, I'd just be inside my room looking at the four walls. So it's really a big deal for them, and we acknowledge that, and we do whatever we can to make that whole experience for them extra special. And this is something that any dental office can do that sees senior citizens, and that obviously that's any dental practice, but the senior citizen population is just increasing and increasing. In fact, supposedly by the year 2030, there will be 74 million people 65 and over. So I can only imagine that every dental practice out there will just be seeing more and more senior citizens. So make their experience extraordinary. They will really appreciate it.
Well, that comes around
So
to
there.
why you're on this particular episode. Because, we've talked about having you as a guest host because Dave's taking a little break this summer. And you were obviously a great choice for a guest host. But we happened to get a question in from a listener that is perfect for you. So we'll get to that question. But before, I was just wondering, have you ever tried to figure out just approximately how many dentures you've done in the course of your dental career?
Rich, no. Not just that, like how many extractions have I done as well in preparation for dentures? No, I honestly, I couldn't begin to estimate, because whatever I would say, I'm sure I'd be wrong. So no,
It's got to be at least 10,000.
it's been a lot. Couldn't even tell you. I can't, honestly, Rich, I probably can't count that high. So it really doesn't matter.
Well, let's just say if someone's done, let's just get a little geometric or algebraic ratio equation here. If somebody's done 20,000 dentures, which maybe you have, how many times has that dentist heard the phrase, "I can't eat with them, doc"?
Oh, God. I tell you, fortunately, it's something we rarely hear. For various reasons, some good, some bad. I don't know if you want me to go into that. But for all kinds of reasons, fortunately, in the mobile dentist, we hardly ever hear that. And we hardly ever have patients coming back saying, needing adjustments. Again, for some good reasons, for some not so good reasons.
Right. I mean, kind of like the old story when we were in dental school where a patient was about to deliver a denture. I mean, a student was about to deliver a denture, and the patient died. And Dr. Jerby, the legendary guy in the prosthodontics department, made them go to the morgue to try the denture in. Was that true? I don't know. Not sure.
I seriously doubt it. Someone had to get a step 99 on their molars card.
Exactly.
Remember that?
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, hey, let's get to our question.
Let's get to it.
Here's the question of the week. It says, "Dear dental practice fixers, I'm a family dentist with a busy practice and have noticed a steady increase from year to year in the number of senior citizens I treat, both from existing and new patients." I guess that means that his or her patients are aging into senior citizens, and also they're getting new patients who are senior citizens. "I feel fortunate to have this many patients, but I must admit at times I feel ill prepared when it comes to dealing with seniors. Any great advice you can float my way? Aging in Albany." Aging in Albany, because that's better than aging in New Albany. I don't. So, well, as we've said before, you've seen more senior citizens than just about any dentist out there, and I thought it was really interesting when you were saying how you could kind of take your unusual practice setting, but then give tips to dentists who are in more traditional settings. So what do you think? Any great ideas for treating seniors?
I got a lot of great ideas. How much time we have? Okay, well we can start off with
Let's get started, and I'll cut you off if you go too long.
exactly. And don't forget, I have that really cool story I want to tell you.
Okay,
But
please.
okay, so make sure that your office is what I would call senior citizen friendly, plenty of handicap parking, easy access for patients in wheelchairs, nice big chairs in your waiting room, maybe even like a place by the front desk where it's low down so someone in a wheelchair can see, you could see them and they could see you. Something that I have learned, very important, that when you have a senior citizen in your chair, and again, we work with a lot of patients that have early onset dementia, Alzheimer's disease. You have to, what I call, super explain to them what's going on. Now, we all explain to our patients what we're about to do, but I think with senior citizens, you have to go even deeper and super explain. For me, that'll be like when a patient's in the chair, it's like, okay, Mrs. Smith, I'm going to lean the chair back in just a second. So, hold on, get ready. Here we go. And that's, rather than just hitting the button and the chair goes back, I want them to know that we're about to lean the chair back, because otherwise they kind of flip out a little bit.
So that one tip alone, I think, should be done for every patient. It's kind of like when that person in front of you in the airplane just throws their chair back, how unsettling that is. It's the same thing when we lean our patients back.
So the person in the chair in front of you in the airline, it's like, excuse me, sir. It turns around. I just want to let you know I'm going to be impinging on your space right now. So here we go.
It would be better to do that than just to do it the way most people do it. So, okay, so keep going.
Keep going. So also, I have learned that, look, we all want to do ideal dentistry, obviously, just like we were taught in dental school. But oftentimes with seniors, patients with Alzheimer's, you can't. You have to kind of, when you start the procedure, you have to kind of assess um, how tolerant the patient is going to be of what you're about to do or what you're doing, and how tolerant they are of time. A lot of these patients, they have back issues, they have to go to the bathroom. Sometimes they can't tolerate more than a 10 or 15-minute appointment. And if that's the case, you have to do the best dentistry you can, and you have to accept that, and you have to work with them. They'll, rather than forcing them to do something that's just driving them crazy, causing them a lot of pain, then they'll never come back again. They're going to tell their kids, my experience was horrible. The doctor was this, the doctor was that. Figure out what they can tolerate and go with that, and they will love you for it. Also, treat you should treat all your patients with the utmost respect, but especially with senior citizens. Sometimes the tendency is, again, if they're all have Alzheimer's, dementia, that to you they're just like this person in the chair. They have no feelings, they can't really talk, they don't know what's going on. But when you find out about these people, a lot of them, they had a great life. They were doctors, lawyers, judges, scientists, celebrities, athletes. So treat them with the utmost respect, because they're people just like anyone else. Can I tell a quick story now? A pretty interesting story.
I have a feeling, and I don't know what the story is, but I have a feeling it's going to answer a question that I was just going to ask you. So go ahead, tell a great story.
Okay, so again, a lot of what we do in the mobile dentist, we go into nursing facilities. And very often, if the patient cannot come out to our truck, if they're bedbound, whatever, we just have to go into the rooms and do an exam, do whatever kind of cleaning we can. We do this all the time. So whenever I'm in a patient's room, again, rather than just treating this person as, I don't want to say a vegetable, but the person that's lying in the bed, I like to look around the room. You could gain a lot of information, learn a lot about that person when you look on what's on their walls. They have, their family, their kids. I was in this one guy's room a few years ago, and I'm looking on his wall, and besides the patient's pictures of his family, kids, whatever, he had a lot of certificates and plaques, and I was able to ascertain that this guy was obviously someone of renown. He was a scientist. He was very high achievement, all kinds of awards and photos and salutations. And then I'm kind of looking on his wall, and I come across this other picture, and it fascinated me because I'm looking at this picture, and I can tell it's when in his younger days, and he's by would look like a automobile racetrack. There's cars in the background, and you see like a track, and he's standing there next to a buddy. They're like arm in arm, and I'm looking at this guy in the picture, the other guy, and I say to the patient, I go, "Excuse me, sir, is that Steve McQueen?"
Oh my God.
He goes, guy goes, yeah, we were friends, we were buddies, we used to race cars together. Thinking, well, that's pretty cool. This guy was friends with Steve McQueen, Mr. Cool himself.
Yeah, I was going to say for our younger listeners who maybe aren't familiar with Steve McQueen, just one of the coolest actors of all time, and he was into race cars and
Right,
just
right.
good looking Hollywood stud, just the best.
I think his nickname was the King of Cool. And there he
Ah,
was, arm in arm with my patient. They were like friends. I thought that was I like things like that. I was very impressed. So again, you never know who you're going to come across. And I've come across, athletes. I had a guy, professional NBA basketball player. Unfortunately, now is confined to a wheelchair. So you never know who you're going to meet, and they have great stories.
didn't you have somebody who was a musician or a singer of note, like kind of they had like a minor hit or like a minor music star? I seem to remember a story like that.
Well, I tell you who I did have, and I have the autographed copy right to my right, but I can't get it right now. I had one of the original, from The Sound of Music, one of the original Von Trapp kids as a patient. Very
Wow,
cool. So one day I bring my copy of The Sound of Music, and she autographed it.
that's
It was very
hilarious.
cool.
You
So
know,
was that the one you're talking about?
I thought it was I thought it was a guy kind of like in a doo-wop or a gospel vocal group type setting. I could be wrong.
Could be, Rich.
I mean,
I
you've
don't
told
think
so many amazing stories, but I think it's also a really good lesson in life. You're whatever in the grocery store, and there's some old geezer in front of you, and they can barely move, and you're thinking, "Ah, "Come on, man, just get out of my way." But it's really a bad approach, and you should think, "Wow, who knows what that person's seen and done and been through in their life, and they deserve the unbelievable respect that you should give them."
No question about it. No question about it. Hey, look, we're approaching our senior years ourselves.
Well, I get the senior discount in the grocery store, only on Thursdays though.
Hey, IHOP 55 plus menu. Can't beat it.
55, that's really young. Wow, that's really young to
I
be a
know, I
senior.
know, I know.
Anything else? Any other tips?
Oh, very important. Always make sure, especially if you're going to do something that's invasive or irreversible, that you have um, medical clearance if you feel it's necessary. Okay, and very important if that you have to have, if the patient is not their own power of attorney, which in many cases they're not, that you have permission from their family members or whoever's the designated power of attorney to do what you're going to do. And I'm not going to tell this story. I have a story that happened to me a few years ago when we thought we had proper power of attorney and we didn't. And I heard it from the daughter, and I was thinking, what else could I do in life now that I'm not going to be a dentist any
Right,
longer?
right. The last thing you want to be called is defendant.
That's right. I saw my career flash before my eyes. What else could I do now?
You can drive the truck. You drive the dental truck instead of being the dentist on the dental truck.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. Well, what else can I tell you? That's a very important one. Again, power of attorney, signed medical consent before you do anything invasive like an extraction. It's so easy to avoid a situation that you absolutely don't want to have to deal with later. Like you say, defendant. Yeah, I don't want that stuff. Um, what else do I got for you? That's pretty much my main points as far as treating senior citizens.
Yeah, well, those are great tips, and not only for dentistry but for life. Just and senior citizens can be great patients. And let's face it, you're talking about senior citizens mostly who are, um, I don't know what you would say, feeble or not, not in complete good health. But obviously, these days, senior citizens in their 70s and their 80s can still be really healthy, can still be incredible patients, and they want top-notch dentistry, and they're really, really concerned about their health. But I think it's really even, somebody that appears to be in great physical shape, maybe somebody 85 or whatever. I think it's a great tip that you gave to delve into their history a little bit, learn a little bit about them, and they can probably tell you amazing stories.
No question about it. I hear them all the time.
Okay, hey, ready to do some secret shopper calls?
I am so ready.
Now, based on this theme, I decided to do a few calls asking about seniors in the office. Now, I did one call kind of posing as the son of a senior citizen, and then I did two more acting as the senior citizen myself with a really bad voice. I don't know what you would call it. The Marty Funkhauser voice. I don't know. What would you call it? You heard these calls.
I call it the Tom Waits voice.
Tom Waits, yeah. Either way, bad.
Tom Waits.
All right.
People are thinking, who the hell is Funkhauser?
Right. Okay, I'm going over to Command Central here, and let's do our first call.
She's speaking. Let me help you.
I've got a question for you. I'm calling on behalf of my dad. He's 89 years old, and he's having just some issues. He doesn't have that many teeth left. I'm not sure if he needs dentures or implants or what it is. Do you see patients of that age?
Yes.
And is there anything you do special to make them more comfortable?
Like, only thing we have in the office is just laughing gas.
Oh.
If he needs anything done.
Mm-hmm. Is it okay to use laughing gas on someone that age?
We have done it before, but different people have different health issues. So, but we do the age here.
Mm-hmm.
And then we do local anesthetic. We don't put the patient to sleep.
I got it. That sounds like a wise idea. Okay, I mean, that sounds great. Thank you so much for the info.
You're very welcome. Have a blessed day.
Oh, you too. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Well, she kind of perked up at the end there, but didn't really seem to have much interest in getting the appointment taken care of. Hey, I don't know. I don't know that I'd be comfortable using nitrous oxide on somebody in their 90s. What do you think about that whole thing?
No, I totally agree. And I really, I mean, I think she was, I think it kind of threw her for a loop. I don't think she was really prepared to answer that kind of question. And that goes back to, what I know you've talked about on this podcast before. It's probably a good idea for the dentist to get together with his team or her team and come up with talking points so they're prepared when someone like yourself calls in and asks these kinds of questions. I mean, I think she was really I'm sure she was doing her best to answer your question, but she was obviously winging it. Nitrous oxide, I mean, I never really equated that with something that's more more suitable for senior citizens. So I think by saying, yeah, we treat senior citizens, we have laughing gas. I don't see the connection there. Do you?
No, I totally agree with you. And I think, again, I mean, you're right. It's an unusual question. She was really thrown for a loop. But, I mean, this is a person that's working at the front desk of a dental practice, the voice and representative of the practice. You think she could have said, oh, let's get your dad on the schedule. I promise we'll make him so comfortable. We'll be gentle. Like you said, we won't lean the chair back too far, and we'll warn him before we do. We'll make sure we explain our examination very carefully, and you're welcome to come back in the room with them. Just anything to make this person feel like this is the right place for their dad.
Right. Again, I think it comes down to she needed to be more prepared with answers to your questions, and she wasn't.
Right. And then let's say you get the dad in, and that he's a difficult patient, and you do really well. Well, then the son's going to come, and the son might talk about this experience to if he has siblings, other children of the dad. She could have gained 10 great patients by handling this call.
No question. And also something that you always touch upon is that she didn't ask to make an appointment.
Bingo. She never even attempted. So I don't know. I think we're going to have to give her a failing grade. What do you think?
I think so, unfortunately.
But as I always say, when somebody like her has the nice voice and the good attitude, some good training and some good team meetings, they can really up their game. At least she wasn't nasty and mean or anything like that. So
not at all. I mean, can't say she was overly enthusiastic.
Right. Gotcha. Okay, now let's go to the next call where I'm kind of posing as a senior citizen doing what turned out to be just a horrible voice. So let's see how this goes.
This is Kelly. I can help you.
Yeah, do you see seniors in your practice?
Do we see seniors?
Senior citizens. I'm 74.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
And is there anything you do to make us more comfortable there?
I mean, just the same things that we do for anyone.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
As far as, yeah.
Yeah. All right, great. Thank you so
All right.
much.
Uh-huh.
Okay, bye.
I mean, she couldn't wait to get me off the phone. What do you think?
Telling you, I think she had maybe other people on hold or something else that she felt was more important for her to do at that point in time. You were kind of secondary.
I absolutely got that vibe.
Yeah, I mean, she was friendly, pretty much. Yeah, but again, she didn't really answer your questions very well. You really kind of threw her for a loop. There's that pregnant pause there, and I think also when you said, "Do you treat seniors?" She goes, "Do we treat seniors?" Maybe she's thinking like seniors in high school.
We treat seniors, we treat sophomores, we treat recent grads, we treat.
That's right. You had to kind of, senior citizens.
Right. I mean, I'm talking like this, for God's sake. What do you think? I'm a senior in high school. But she almost got on the right track when she said, well, we treat them the same way we treat everybody else. And she just said, for example, we make sure they're comfortable. We do this, we do that. But she did nothing. And I think you nailed it. I felt like I was of secondary importance to something else that was going on. Maybe the pizza just arrived. I mean, who knows?
Oh, well, then that I see where that would take precedence, actually.
Okay, well, I think we're going to have to give her a failing grade as well.
Unfortunately. Oh, my goodness. Oh, well.
It's funny. I'd like to say that, I didn't make like 20 calls and cherry pick the worst or the best or whatever you want to call them. And that is true. But in this little series of calls, I did them on the day before we're doing this recording. I did have 3 instances where I was put on hold for so long that I just gave up. So you're not going to hear those calls. But again, another just horrible thing to do to people. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Should we do one more call?
There's another one?
Can you believe it? There's another one. Same voice. Let's give it a try. And I apologize. I think they're doing like some lawn mowing or weed whacking or something behind me. So I hope that's not too loud in the podcast. Okay, good. Hang on one second. And next call.
Please remain on the line, and one of our patient coordinators will be with you shortly. If you wish to leave a message, please press 1.
I think this might have been one of those calls I was talking about.
Digital X-rays, which provide instant images while reducing exposure to radiation by up to 90%. Plus, these X-rays can be enlarged to show more specific images for informed decisions about better oral health. It's just one way that your hometown dental office is putting cutting-edge technology to work for you.
Well, it's better than silence, right?
Sorry, say it again. Yes, for sure.
We are currently assisting another patient. Please remain on the line, and one of our patient coordinators will be with you shortly.
I'm going to try to forward this a little bit.
If you wish to leave a message,
all of our patients, young and old, enjoy the latest gadgets, mobile phones, and handheld gaming devices. Technology has changed our world
and your
hometown dental office. Be sure to look around during your visit, and you'll notice that we use digital X-rays, which provide instant images.
We are currently assisting another patient.
Obviously.
Please remain on the line, and one of our patient coordinators will be with you shortly.
I would have hung up by now.
If you wish to leave a message, please press 1.
But she did say we treat patients young and old, so let's see what happens.
Okay.
While lowering the cost of dental care.
Aye.
For more information or to enroll in lifetime care, simply ask for details when we return to your call.
Okay, we'll do that. Little piano tinkling. I feel like I'm at a jazz club.
Nearly all of our patients, young and old, enjoy the latest gadgets, mobile phones, and handheld gaming devices. Technology has changed our world.
We are currently...
Thank you for choosing... This is Haley. How can I help you?
Hey, Haley, do you see senior citizens in your practice?
Yes, we do.
And I just have a little trouble leaning all the way back sometimes. Can you make sure that I'm comfortable with that? Is that something that you could do?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're good at accommodating with people, so shouldn't be a problem.
Oh, great. Well, thank you so much for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay. Bye.
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 Oh, man.
Yay. Wow, you were on hold a lot longer than the actual call lasted.
A lot longer. And we'll probably edit some of that whole time out for the podcast. But listeners, I can tell you, and Marshall can tell you too, that whole time, I'm looking at my little timer here, it was close to 3 minutes. Totally unacceptable.
Wow. Yeah.
So how'd she do?
Well, I think she did better than maybe the other two. But again, she didn't ask to make the appointment. Seemed like she was all too happy to just end the call and get on to the next call. Let me just throw in a tip. Something that we do with the mobile dentist. We keep auxiliary pillows in our truck for people to put behind their back or behind their neck or behind their head. We use them all the time. So that's something else. That's something that any general practice should probably have on hand, because a lot of seniors will appreciate that very much.
How do you keep those clean?
We put like covers over them, like plastic covers over them every time, disposable, like chair covers.
Good. So it's kind of like when you get the nice sofa, but then you put that protective layer on it, and then you sit down and you stick to the sofa.
Yeah, well, it's a little better than that.
Okay, good. Well, let's just finish with this call too. She said, yeah, we can be accommodating. We see seniors, boom, and then not even close to trying to get the appointment. Right. Unfortunately, no matter what we ask in these calls, and this is week after week after week, they never ask for the appointment. It's just unfathomable.
What is up with that?
What's up with that?
What's up with that? Yeah, really. No, I've listened to your other podcasts, and it's true. I mean, actually, let me ask you: has anyone ever asked to make an appointment if you don't bring it up? Has it ever happened?
Well, every now and then somebody will say, "Would you like to make an appointment?" And then if they do, I just say, "I'm not ready yet." And then they never say, "Well, let me get some information from you." So I don't think anyone has ever said what we like to recommend, which is offer 2 great appointment times. We'd love to see you as a patient in our practice. We can see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. If that's not good, we can see you Monday at 11:30. I don't think in the several years of this podcast that has ever happened.
Wow. So, that's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Well, I'll tell you what else is unbelievable. We are out of time. Can you believe that?
Get out of here.
I'll tell you, I think we should do an interview on our audio series and maybe get more into these techniques for treating seniors. And you've got so many great stories and not enough time on the podcast, but I do, and I'm sure all our listeners will agree, appreciate all the great tips. It was fantastic having you as a guest. We'll have to do this again. What do you think?
I had a great time. This was very cool. The time flies.
It really does.
I have a lot more I can talk about.
Okay, well, hey, let's get you back. And any listeners, if you want to co-host the Dental Practice Fixers podcast, just send an email to info@madow.com, info@madow.com. Put guest host in the subject. Tell me why you want to guest host the Dental Practice, because you can say it better than I can. That's why the Dental Practice Fixers podcast, and maybe we'll make it to Marshall's coveted guest host seat. So once again, our special guest today, Dr. Marshall Madow. I am Dr. Richard Madow, co-founder of the Madow Center for Dental Practice Success. Please tell your friends about the podcast. Go online, give us a great rating if you think we deserve it. If you don't think we deserve it, then don't bother giving us a rating at all. But we really appreciate you, our listeners. Marsh, thanks so much. It was fun.
Oh, Mom says hi, by the way.
Oh, excellent. You're talking to her while we're recording. I thought so. Glad to hear that. All right. See you all next week. Bye, everyone.
See you later.